Okay, the last scene that I want to make for this model for a presentation before we start adding more to it is a plan. We've got the perspective, we've got some views, we've got our elevations and sections. So let's work on a plan. Okay, so go back to my perspective working, because this is always where I go whenever I want to start a new gesture. Again with the section tool, this time anywhere on the slab. So I click once on that floor slab. I'm going to move this up 5 feet and then align my view. Okay, so we're looking straight down. Now I'm going to Shift P or camera perspective, turn perspective off. So it's toggling back and forth between either perspective or parallel projection. Okay, which is great. Now, instead of seeing it in color like this, because I don't want to see all my materials and plan because there's not really that much interesting to look at down here, and because we just want to shake things up, let's go and change the style of this. Let's go to Window, Styles. Now what I like to do when I'm looking at a new style is I like to toggle down and just start with the defaults. My favorite style to use is the hidden line when I'm working in plan. So if I click once on this hidden line, what this gives me is a nice, clean, black line with a white background. So I'm really looking at this more like I would be looking at a set of plans. So this is a much easier way for me to work visually when I'm working out a plan. So I'll select this, but let me see if I might edit this a little bit. Sometimes you don't see the profiles of the shapes. It's a little hard to tell here. Let's get a little closer. If I click on Profiles, you notice here in the handle, when Profiles is not selected, it goes away. I actually like to edit this style and check Profiles on and let it go ahead and be 1, because this will draw a profile line around anything that's smooth that doesn't naturally get a line around it. Okay, so we've done one little edit there, and then the next step, and we'll get more into styles down the road. This is kind of just a quick intro for making a plan. One last thing is that when you do any sort of editing to a style, and there's all different places here where you can edit. So under Edit and the very first section, which is the Edge style, I've turned Profiles on. Notice that I get this little kind of like recycle looking symbol on the actual style itself. This is saying right now that I've now changed the style, and it's asking me whether I want to update it to make that style always have those changes. So I'm going to say yes by clicking on it. So I click once on that cycle symbol, and that now means every time I choose this within this model, every time I choose this style, it's now going to have those profiles checked. Okay, so I've turned perspective off. Notice that this style is default set up so that you don't see the you don't see the section planes. So that's good. I don't even have to go view and uncheck sections, because a part of the default of this style is that those sections are not visible. So let's go down to the very bottom here. Let's actually go to view 4 so that when we make a new scene, it'll go right under elevation, right under view 4, right above elevation A. I'm adding a new scene. I'm calling it Plan, and I'm typing it in all caps. So now I can go back to my perspective working. All of the style of this scene that I already established is still in place, so I can still see my materials. When I go to view 1, I can still see all my materials, and the roof is back in place. But now when I go to Plan, it takes away all the materials, and it takes away the perspective, and it shows me that section cut. So this is great. So at the end of this, we now have several views that we can look at this. We have our plan and we have our sections. So we're really, really ready. If we were to take this into layout and start making a presentation, this is about as far as we would need to go.